Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Aaron, this is Sawyer, and this is Tier 1 Concealed. Today we're going to be talking about a widely discussed subject, and that is appendix carry and how to do that comfortably. Or, better question is, can you even do that comfortably? Because as the internet would have you know, it's impossible, and you can't even sit down while carrying appendix. Well, we're here to discuss that. I'm currently carrying appendix. This is a pretty big holster. Sawyer also has a similar setup. This is a Glock 34 X300 Aegis Elite. So the Aegis has the button snaps on this hinge point. The Axis Elite just has a row of shock cord. So these are two most popular appendix carry inside the waistband holsters. Let's figure out if we can even do this comfortably. First things first, in order to carry comfortably and to conceal well, there are a couple key things that you need to consider. And the first is your belt. Keeps your pants up, also can help tremendously in concealing your firearm and keeping it in the same spot consistently for your draw. So no matter what you're doing, you're gonna have a very repeatable draw. We sell an EDC belt on our website. It's a collaboration belt we did with Core Essentials. It's very rugged and sturdy, and it's a ratchet system design, so you can change the tightness of the belt. You can change the size of it very easily. We love that belt. That's what I'm wearing right now. The second thing is you need to make sure your pants or shorts aren't too tight, that they have some give to them. You have to remember you're putting the thickness of a firearm with the holster on top of it inside the waistline of your belt. So that's gonna add some. So make sure your pants aren't too tight. That'll make it more uncomfortable and a lot more restrictive. So, but first let's go over sitting down with something like this in your pants and see if that's even possible. Okay, so we have Sawyer going to get a chair, and we're gonna see who wins, the chair or appendix carry.
So there's just a few really simple tricks to being comfortable when you're sitting down. When you think about having something near your appendix, it's kind of the part where your body pivots. So you don't want to have your holster riding so low that it's impeding your pivot. So when I sit down, like when you get in a car or anything like that, I'll just come over, grab my belt, mostly just grab my clips and just bring it up a little bit. And it just takes it out of your pivot point. So it's riding more like up on my belly, and you can really comfortably sit anyway. This is, I mean, I don't have a light bearing holster on right now, so it might be a little bit harder to do this, to like lean over like in this position, but without a light, it's very comfortable. And it's not gonna be like, oh no, where'd my holster go? I can't even feel it, it's so comfortable. Like, you still have a gun in your pants. You're gonna notice it, but it's gonna be a lot more comfortable.
Concealed carry is inherently uncomfortable. I mean, you have this massive chunk of metal in your pants where there normally isn't a big chunk of metal there. So I do the same thing as Sawyer does. I kind of like push the holster, the grip, and the top of the gun out. So that way, the top of the gun and this whole rig isn't digging into my stomach when I bend over and sit down. So I just kind of push it away, and it just kind of rides in front of my stomach. Everything kind of tucks behind it. And it's really, and this is the big setup, the X300 full-size handgun. And when you get up, it just goes back right into the same position. What Sawyer mentioned about your legs and how they hinge up and pivot, that's also important. That's why we wear it kind of center line. So it kind of sits in that gap in between your legs there.
Okay, so if you're new to concealed carry, or just appendix carry for that matter, if you're just transitioning from another position or you're gonna try it out, you might have to change kind of how you wear your clothes, like the style of pants or that you get, or like a new kind of belt. But like the sizing, like Aaron said, get a little bit stretchier pants. But yeah, if you're new to concealed carry, it's gonna, like the very beginning, it's gonna be pretty uncomfortable because you have a completely foreign object and a new spot on your body. It's gonna feel super weird. So give it some time. Seek out help from others that have experience appendix carrying. That's why we're making this video, just to make it easier on you. But after like a few days or a week, you'll start to get a lot more used to it after you kind of dial in where you ride your belt. Even like when you're sitting down, you might have to, maybe you like to ride your pants super low, and that's going to be really bad for concealed carry because that's going to put your gun like right where you pivot, like we talked about earlier. But yeah, you might have to change up just a few other things, but it'll get a lot more comfortable as you get used to it and kind of dial in your setup.
The next thing is, let's talk about driving, because we know that's a widely talked about issue. Going on long road trips, do you carry? Do you take your rig off, set it in the seat or in the center console or under your seat or whatever? Me personally, I like to keep it on me at all times, and it's not that uncomfortable, especially if your pants aren't too tight. And disclaimer, I'm a large human.
That's a huge bitch.
I'm like 6'4", 240, and this is my car that I commute in. This is a little tiny Ford Focus. So
that guy in a little coat.
let's see how it is getting in and out of this thing. Got my holster there still, just so you know. Keep in mind, these are bucket seats, fairly aggressive seats. This is kind of a sporty car, and I'm carrying just fine here in this position. So the same thing applies that Sawyer mentioned when he talked about sitting in a chair. It's making sure the gun doesn't get trapped in your stomach and kind of dug into yourself when you bend over or you're sitting down. And my legs are even at like a pretty aggressive angle up here, but I got that holster sitting right here, kind of on top of my stomach area, and it's really not that uncomfortable. I can move, I can draw still. Everything is in a pretty good spot. So when I put my seatbelt on, I usually ride it just over top and keep my shirt and everything in the same position. I've done some range dry fire and even live fire with the seatbelt on, and as long as your mechanics of removing the cover garment, getting that out of the way, and grabbing the gun are good, you shouldn't have any issues. I know some people like to tuck everything behind, and you can do that. I don't know what's right, what's wrong. I've heard of issues where people have gotten in car accidents where their seatbelt's in front and all that pressure in their pelvic region does some damage, but I've also heard of issues where having the seatbelt behind is riding higher on your abdomen, and that can also be less than ideal if you're in a car wreck. I don't know what's right, what's wrong. Maybe we'll just cut this whole section out. Who knows? This is how I sit in a car. So take the seatbelt out. Getting out is just as easy.
Oh no, I dropped my Mod Light PLH 350 handheld, but I'm carrying Appendix. How am I gonna get this off the ground? Well, there's a few ways to do it. You don't have to show everyone your booty.
Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot.
What I do most of the time when I have to pick something up off the ground and I'm carrying Appendix, I just go like that, kind of like the pregnant lady. She kind of squats down and grabs it. That's what I usually do. Some people they'll lift the leg up to kind of give it some room, or if you, I don't know, have like a bad back, you can do like when we sit down, scoot your holster up and actually do the full bend over. But it's just a matter of experimenting and see what works best for you. I mean, in the event that you have to pick something up and you're carrying Appendix, you probably won't even think about it and just pick it up and not even notice your gun or anything. So, but those are just a few ways that I've found that works well.
Okay, in case you're wondering, this is a Tier 1 Concealed shirt. At tier1concealed.com, we offer some of the dopest firearm industry apparel there is to offer. And our graphic designer, Colin, is right here with us today.
And I am going to talk about using the restroom while carrying Appendix. There are many methods. We all kind of use a variety of them depending on the bathroom environment. But my number one method is you come up to the urinal, open your area of activity, remove the entire rig, and look for a person to hand it to. And then you go to the bathroom.
I'll just hold this for you while you do your business. Well, what do you do if there's no nice gentleman standing next to you to hand your holster off to?
Oh, okay. Well, if you don't have someone nice or it's a single person bathroom, a lot of people will just tuck it. This is obviously another scenario, like we said, where no one's around. You can tuck it, doesn't matter if someone sees, and you're good to go. You talked about tucking it under your shirt if there are people there, correct?
Yeah, you hold your gun, I'll use mine.
Okay, let's do that.
Sometimes if maybe all the stalls are taken and you really need to pee and they're just urinals, but you're worried about someone maybe seeing behind you, you can remove and tuck under your shirt a little bit. That way it's still kind of concealed and you're not like openly flashing a gun to anybody behind you. Do your business.
And if people are looking real close at you, you got bigger problems.
Yeah. Another method, some people can even get away with keeping the whole rig holstered and in your pants and just unzip and kind of thread the needle under your holster through the zipper opening. That works for some people.
Yeah, sometimes, and actually this is my actual go-to method is I'll just pop off one clip. And that usually gives me enough room to thread underneath. And that way you don't have to worry about anybody seeing it and stuff like that.
That's an interesting method, just kind of popping one belt clip off and kind of rotating it up so it kind of shifts up and kind of out of the way. Might have to try that.
Give it a whirl. It works.
Yeah, so try some of these methods out, figure out what works best for you. Comment below if you have a better method. I guess we didn't talk about going number 2, but I feel like that one's quite a bit easier because you're usually doing that in a secluded stall or in the privacy of a single room bathroom or something.
You're alone. You just got to be careful with it if you're going to take it off of your person completely.
Yeah, so
for a variety of reasons.
I would recommend taking it out of your pants and off your belt, you know, getting your pants down and everything, but then keeping like positive control of it. That one's pretty simple. Just do what works best for you.
Hey guys, we already talked about how important it is to have a proper belt and not having everything too tight. That's why it's nice to have one of our EDC belts because it has the adjustable button so that you can adjust it on the fly. Like for example, you're out eating dinner and you get a little crazy and eat too much and you're feeling like bloated. You could just pop this baby out a little bit and you're feeling a lot more comfortable. Another good example is driving. Sometimes you get in different cars, different like angles sitting, and you just need to loosen things up. And that becomes really important because you don't want to be so uncomfortable that you take your gun off. So if you're looking for a good rigid belt that's comfortable and has the adjustability on the fly, check out the EDC belts we have on our website.
Okay, so as we mentioned before, some of these methods might work great for you. This might be an answer to your prayers. Some of this might not work for you. Everybody's built different. We all have different body types, and it's kind of up to you to experiment and find what works best for you. Contrary to popular belief, you can bend over and squat down and sit down and move around relatively comfortably carrying Appendix. So let us know in the comment section if there's a trick that you've found out works awesome that we didn't mention. Drop it below. As always, like, subscribe, check out our other videos on the channel. Let us know in the comments what sort of things you want to see from us, and we'll catch you next time.